everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Shop Adventure, my weekly excursion where I leave the homestead here at Athletic Geek HQ in search of my bounty of comics, graphic novels, action figures, collectibles, and so much more. Last week was kind of an interesting week. It was a lighter week, and everything wasn't, well, it was good. Nothing was awful, but very few, really just, jumped out at me. I thought the Avengers was one of the better books I picked up last week, with Namor being introduced, so that was really good. And then Detective, which I'd mentioned in previous episodes, kind of being a book that's kind of, I felt, maybe in a slump since the creative team changed. I really enjoyed it with what they're doing with a Two-Face story right now, and I thought it was really, really interesting. I thought it was a good issue, and maybe that book will start picking back up. Everything that I picked up last week was decent, but nothing really stuck with me as much as those two. I really enjoyed how they integrated Namor into the Avengers. I thought that this might be the beginning of one of the run's been good so far. This might be the quintessential story arc in Jason Aaron's run on the book. And then, like I said, Detective, maybe this will be where everything picks up with it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for what was part of last week's bounty, and we'll see what this week's bounty brings when I return home. So I'll see you then. Hey everyone, I am back here at the homestead of Athletic Geek HQ. And it's a big bounty this week, and we ain't going to waste any more time. We'll start with the comic books. Going to start with Mr. and Mrs. X number 4. Been a fun little miniseries so far, and I don't know when I'm going to get to read any X-Men books with Gambit in it again, so I'm going to take my fill while I still can. Kelly Thompson's done a great job so far on this series, so I've really enjoyed it, and I hope I continue to enjoy it. From there, we go to Daredevil number 609, The Death of Daredevil Part 1. This, with the way they're kind of talking about everything and the way the run has kind of gone to this point, and they're bringing back the Kingpin, Mayor Fisk now, this might be kind of like a Charles Soule's opus on Daredevil, so hopefully it's good. If you've seen in past episodes, I've been pretty critical of Charles Soule's run thus far, but there's been some sparkles of greatness in there, and maybe this will be the right thing to remember Charles Soule on Daredevil. This will be the right story arc and the definitive story arc for his run. We will see. Gotta read it, but Daredevil 609. We now go to Thor number 6 by Jason Aaron. For someone who not the biggest Thor fan, Jason Aaron does a really, really great job with this character, and I enjoy it. And it's a fun, good read. I really really enjoyed Thor so far under Jason Aaron. So hopefully this one remains good and as good as the past issues. From there, we go to Astonishing X-Men number 16. This one's really big on the cutting block for me. Yeah, after this story arc, I don't know if they're going to continue with the Astonishing series with kind of everything going back to the Uncanny imprint for the X-Men. But this is probably one that if it continues, unless it really impresses, it's probably going to get cut. Just the way it's going to have to be. But you never know. And then finally, to round out the Marvel side of the pull list, it is Old Man Logan number 49. The series, I believe, is wrapping up, and he's fighting the Hulks again. It's it's going to be hopefully it goes out with a really high note. A series with its ups and downs, but a hell of a lot more ups than downs. I hope this what looks to be the last story arc of Old Man Logan is as strong, and the book can go out the way it should, and it's remembered in a good way, because it was a really, really great series for the most part. And we now go to the DC side of things. We have Batman number 57. The last issue of Batman wasn't too bad. It's kind of one that I had to read a couple times, so like, it didn't really stick with me too well. I had to like go back and reread it, so that's a good thing. That's a bad thing, really, with comic books. For me, like, I really like an impression, have to read you one time. Like, read the book one time to really make a good impression. I feel like that's the kind of book that I prefer. But, you know, I feel like it's on the upswing after the wedding controversy that even I was angry about. So, hopefully this is more of the upswing. And we now have Nightwing number 51. The status quo is changing in Dick Grayson's life, and the foil cover here does not reflect that, but yeah, definitely some big change in store for this book, and I hope that they're good changes that I can roll with, and they don't just completely, you know, hopefully don't just completely ruin Dick Grayson and Nightwing for me. I'm concerned but interested. It's kind of like similar to bring the wrestling side of things back when they the NWO debut. They said, you know, viewers were confused, concerned, but interested. That's me with Nightwing right now. But hopefully it still ends up doing very well. And from there we go to Aquaman number 41. This it's just like, part of it's like, you know, and I'll admit this is my own fault. Like, when certain comics are tied in with others, I don't always pick those up because, you know, I'm just kind of on my budget as it is with my pull list and the potential of other collectibles I've pre-ordered and whatnot. So sometimes I'm not getting the full series with that or the full story to the series. And maybe that's why I haven't been able to really enjoy Aquaman too much lately. Was my favorite book when the DC Rebirth. Now I'm just not really into it, and it's very much it's very much on its last leg on my pull list. So we will see from there. And on the same token of, I haven't collected the other stories that this is tied into, Justice League Dark, The Witching Hour. I might go back and try and hunt down the Wonder Woman books to go along with this story, but right now I'm not, and I don't know if I should read this book or not because of that. It's not a knock on the fact they're doing it. I get why they're doing it. You know, it makes sense. It makes business sense. It can make story sense. It's just when you're on a budget, sometimes something that you don't necessarily want to do, and yeah, it's I'm not angry about it, but maybe it's something that I shouldn't comment on. I'm not, or, you know, not really going to have as much of an opinion on because of it. So there's that. Going to the world of Green Lanterns, we have The End on Green Lanterns number 57. It's almost like they're redoing the Parallax story from back in the 90s, and I don't know how that's going to tie into Morrison's story. Like I said, I don't know if that's going to be kind of an Elseworlds or if it's its own separate thing, or if it's going to be directly a tie-in or a result to things that have been happening in the Green Lantern world, but really think Jurgens hasn't done a bad job so far on Green Lanterns, and I really, really hope that he continues. It's been a good run so far, and if this is the last arc of this series, that's a shame because it's a good series, but might be a pretty epic ending to a phenomenal, phenomenal book. And then finally, it's time for me to really kiss up to Scott Snyder again. We have Justice League number 10 and his amazing Justice League run so far. Not gonna beat the dead horse in a good way. Great run. Must have for any Justice League fan. Go buy it. Go buy this book if you like DC and the Justice League. It's, yeah, Scott Snyder's an amazing writer, and he's doing this book, no pun intended, a lot of justice. That is it for the pull list, but I also picked up on this week's adventure, the next in the line of these little mini statuettes for the Justice League, a John Stewart Green Lantern. And, yeah, it looks really cool. It comes with a little book. While John was not my first Green Lantern that I was ever introduced to, my first was actually Kyle Rayner, and then from there, through some old books that my grandfather gave me, I discovered Hal, and then through this series, I discovered John Stewart. And he became one of my favorites because of this series. He's just a really, really, really good character, a really, really cool character, and he really liked his, on this show, his romance with Hawkgirl, and it made me a Hawkgirl fan too. But yeah, it's a really, really cool looking mini statue, and it's going to look great with the rest of my Green Lantern stuff that I have here in the man cave. So yeah, pretty cool. That is it for my bounty this week. Let me know what you picked up at your local comic shop in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and like to see others like it, please give me a like, give me a share, give me a subscribe. Go check out past videos. Want more content? Go to the Facebook page at www.facebook.com/athleticgeek89. More content there. There's some exclusive Facebook content there, including my collection comic of the week every Thursday, and my thoughts on the new episodes of the DC CW universe. My reviews are only found on my Facebook page, so go check those out. But other than that, I'm out. Y'all be cool. Later.